Good morning. Doug White here, your Diamond Chaplain, with the recap of Thursday's chapel lesson. I apologize for the delay. I normally get it posted earlier than this, but I was not able to this week, so please forgive me. So this week we're looking at Genesis 12, verses 1 through 9. And the first few verses, we're talking about the call of Abraham. Abram is his name at the time. God will later change his name to Abraham, but this is when he's called, when God originally contacts him. And what we see in Genesis 12, 1 through 9 is, as last week we were talking about the obedience of Noah, this week we're talking about the trust of Abram. God tells Abram to leave his family, leave everything that's familiar to him, leave everything behind him. He says, "Go to a country I will show you." So he's telling Abram to leave his family, to leave everything that's familiar to him, to leave his safety net, to leave his protection, to leave his provision, and to go somewhere that he's never been before, somewhere he doesn't even know where he's going. And we see that Abram trusts him. He packs up his family, packs up all of his belongings, and he makes a permanent move to a land that God will show him along the way. What we see then is he moves into the land of Canaan, and in multiple times throughout this passage, we see that he pitches a tent. As he's passing through the land, he doesn't make a permanent residence as soon as he gets there, but he passes through the land to see everything that God has for him. The interesting thing is that God makes a promise here, a covenant with Abram, that he will give this land to his offspring. That is a pillar of the faith. The promise is to your offspring. The promise is not to him. He says he's not going to give it to him. He says he's going to give it to his offspring. We got to remember that is really crucial in our faith, is that God's promises are for our future. God's promises are not necessarily for our right now, but they are for our future. And that is one of the things that we have to see, that God is always way ahead of us. He has a plan, and he's working the plan. And in his future, or in our future, he is where the promises will be fulfilled. We need to keep that in mind, because we tend to get caught up in the here and the now, and what I can see in front of me. But remember, God is always bigger than us. He's always better than us, and he's always out in front of us, because his plan is what matters. But the third thing that we see in these 9 verses of Genesis 12 is that Abram builds an altar. At each place that he stops, he builds an altar. And an altar is a place of sacrifice. It's also a place of worship. So God desires our worship, and that is exactly what we see from Abram. We see trust in Abram, but we also see worship. Those are the 2 characteristics that we covered in chapel. And so with Noah it was obedience, with Abram it's trust and worship. See you this Thursday. Till then, God bless.